Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Beyond the Jam special Heavy Hitters. Right now, it's me, your host, Pound Cake Bill Crane, and John. I am wearing that ugly-looking Giants hat, Mario there, down in Florida. I don't know why he's wearing a Giants hat in Florida. And right now, our only guest on right now for the moment, hopefully not our only guest for the evening, but right now for the moment, just our only guest, Mark Weber of the Nevada Hot Dice. Mark, say hi,
hey guys.
everybody.
Hello.
So with that being said, heavy hitters. Obviously, we're talking about our favorite hits, our favorite finishing moves to stop jams, our favorite stuff. So why don't you, Mark, I'll turn the floor over to you. Why don't you tell us stories about some of your famous moves that we all enjoy doing? We enjoy watching, and some of us entertained the idea of doing them to our friends and family with the ring.
The biggest moves I have done, and the ones that I'm kind of known for, I guess, is roll the bones is one of them. We were speaking earlier about Webinator, or you guys call it the Falcon Arrow. What else do I do? Chairs. I like to swing a good old chair every now and then. A good old steel chair is kind of my right-hand man besides Jason McDaniel. And then I had a couple other ones that I tried. Would be more of a power slam and a windmill, as I did earlier in the seasons.
Okay.
So
tell us a little bit about each move, how it was developed, all that stuff, because I'm sure the fans want to know like the inside stories behind these moves, because obviously it took a little bit of brainstorming to understand those moves.
So
it was developed.
Roll the Bones actually developed. We were skating a game against the Sundogs. Season 1, I think it was. Richard Brown was on our team at the time, and so I was kind of backstage with Bill Barker brainstorming on what am I going to do, how am I going to do this, what the heck am I going to do, and him and I kind of just, like right before we kind of came out, kind of talked about a move, and he called it more of a fireman's carry, like in wrestling, like in mat wrestling. And I was like, okay, cool, let's try it. And it was just first developed, just like I said, just kind of like, here, let's try this. And I was out on the track, and Bill Barker actually took the first one of Roll the Bones, and kind of just, it went from there. That was kind of like the birth and the development of Roll the Bones. The other ones, I just kind of said, hey, here, let's try this. Let's try this, and let's see what happens. The power really didn't go too well. I didn't like that one because it wasn't smooth and clean, so I only did it, I don't know, a couple games I did it to a couple people, but it just didn't flow the way I liked it to flow. The windmill we did against a couple jammers, and that was another one that was kind of restricted just to the little guys, because lifting up, 240-pound guy and spinning him around in circles and all this other stuff just really wasn't easy. And then the last one would be, what's up, Rusty? The last one would be the Webinator, the Falcon Arrow. That one was kind of developed, was at practice, and I was like, hey, let me try this. So Travis Wills was the first one that actually took it at practice. And Buddy, our trainer, was like, there's no way you're going to be able to do that. You're not going to be able to stand up on your skates long enough. I was like, cool, I like a challenge. So I was able to put him up in the air, suplex him, and actually stand there long enough to, I guess, catch the camera and then perform the move. So those were.
Which, correct me if I'm wrong, Mark, the Falcon Arrow was the move you put on Mo Sanders in the tables race.
Yes.
In the final episode, correct?
Yes, that was it.
The famous line that Mo Sanders said, everything goes through Mo Sanders.
Correct.
I knew at that moment that he was going through a table.
Yes, and that was one of the worst interviews I've ever did, because Danny's running after me. He's like, what is that move? I was so tired and so gassed. Like, I wasn't thinking of anything. And Danny's like running at me like, what was that? I'm like, Mo going through a table. And then I like, once that happened, I skated away like, what the hell was that? That was terrible.
But it was funny for the moment. It was one of the moments I actually laughed because, I mean, it was so basic that it just was simple and to the point, and it was just one of those, like, you said it, it's like you stated the obvious, which made that funny.
Yeah, but
So,
to me, I was like, God, that was horrible.
as a fan, that was great. So while you were talking about that, in uniform and in his cop car this evening, where is he? Is he off to chase
Hey,
a
what's up?
Did Devo escape?
Can you hear me?
Oh, we can
Yeah,
hear
we can hear you.
Did Devo escape?
Okay. Yeah. No. So I was supposed to get off a long time ago, but airport police had a guy in custody. He was in a stolen vehicle, and he ended up kicking out a window and jumping out when the cop was back helping another crash behind his car. So we've had this place surrounded forever, trying to find this guy. He's still handcuffed. So sorry.
No,
I'm gonna have to mute you for a second. I mean, I gotta get a call. Let me mute you just for a second, okay?
okay. So that's nice. The rusty nail is.
He's dedicated. I like that.
Oh, I love it. I like it though. Rusty's doing his work and helping the community while attending our get together this evening. That's always nice.
Bill, how many podcasts can say they had on patrol?
Fugitive.
The rating.
I've never had it. I mean, this is new territory for me. I mean, this is the only fourth one I've ever done. So, I mean, anything that happens on these is brand new. I mean, including when your daughter's sitting next to you and, farting. So,
When we say it's a shoot, it is a shoot.
Yes, it's a legitimate shoot. We don't know what's going to be said.
Hey guys, I'll be right back, okay?
All right,
Okay.
Rusty.
Bye.
Sorry.
I think you have a.
I'm waiting for Jannet to get on. She said she was going to be on. Where's she at?
I think she went to her boyfriend.
No, she's got a husband. Did you hear that, my daughter? She said, I think she went to her boyfriend's.
What?
She's gonna get you for that one.
I know I was so sweet.
Oh, my God.
Okay, I have a crush on Eli, the kid. I know. It's kind of.
So, you talked about the moves that you did. What about
Yeah.
the move? What was the hardest that you've taken? Because
Oh God. So every one of those King Kongs that Tim performed hurt because, like I said, he's a solid piece of muscle. Those hurt. The ones, let me think what else. So the Screamer actually was one of the better ones that Marco did, where you would skate and he'd jump up. We got to a point where our timing was so good on those things where, I don't know, there was one I just watched recently where I was chasing Travis Wills through the track and I was flying and I hit Marco and I hit him so hard to where, like, if you see my hand kind of comes up around him almost because I was afraid I hit him so hard he was going to fly away from me. Those actually wasn't that bad. It all depends on the landing. Sometimes I landed on his skate. Good job, son. I landed on his skate, and that one hurt. The one where, let's see, the Fallen Angel, is that what it's called? I think the Fallen Angel where Tim kind of takes Marco with the skate and launches him backwards. Those hurt because his arms and everything kind of all just hit us right here in the face every time. So the most painful one, the biggest one I had was that one move where Tim and Marco was doing, I guess it's called the 3D, the Dudley Boys, where they hold you up on everything. I told you this, John. Yeah, I told John this. We had this one move where I was up in the air on Tim. Travis scored, was skating backwards, not paying attention, and ran into Tim while he had me up above his shoulders. And like I said, Tim's 6'5", 6'6". So I was up there when he fell. Tim, like the motion, took my legs up forward, and I came down more on my head and the back of my neck. That was the only time Marco said that he was going to break character and see if I was okay because it felt like I broke my neck and everything else. in my world, in my mind, it took 5 minutes, but on TV it took 3 seconds. But that was probably one of the hardest ones I've gotten hit.
It was scary. You could see it on TV. It was scary.
Yeah, it sucked. Like I watch it now and I'm like, oh my God. But even then, like you said, like if you see it now, you see Marco stand there the way he stood there.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he was saying. He was almost breaking character to see if I was okay. And then when we lined up on the track, the next time around, you could see me up on the rail, and Marco actually drops down and talks to me on the rail before the jam whistle, and he's asking me again if I was okay. I was like, yeah, I'm fine. Just leave me alone. I'm fine. It hurt like hell, but it was fine. I mean, I made it through, and then let me think what else I do. God, I went through everything. The door, that wasn't that bad when I got slammed through the door by Tim. Ramming into the door, skating. Again, it hurt, but it wasn't really anything that I was like, oh my God, I won't do that again. But I mean, I'll do them most again. I still walk.
Those were legit props, though. Those were.
Yeah. And that door of doom just came out. We was always kicking around, talking about it. Like, yeah, what about this? What about this? And the door came out. They're like, this is what we're going to do. I'm like, okay, let's see it. Why not? I mean, Sean jumped off the ladder on me with it, and I ran into it. I got slammed through it, and those were legit doors. Like it seemed like they took it off the bathroom and brought it out to there, because that's what it was like when I went through it. They were hollow, but still, the worst thing about it is like that one where Tim slammed me through it, and Marco's breaking it on me. Like it didn't break, so it was like splintered. So as he's working it, like he's like splintering my back. That was fun. Oh yeah, another one. Sean slammed a light bulb on my head.
The very early seasons, yes.
Yeah, that was in Vegas. He came across, hit it across my helmet, and the trainer, when he came out, he's like, "Don't move, there's glass everywhere." I'm like, okay. I mean, it hurt, but I kind of moved a little bit, and and then there was a bunch of other bumps and bruises that we all had. But the biggest hits out of all of them was all the big moves. Those were the biggest ones at it. You're like, oh. And the Captain America, actually, the Bill's move, that actually move is like, so if you didn't time it right, it hurt like hell. But 99% of the time, there was really no way to time that right without it looking good. So every single time he did that flying clothesline, it was a legit flying clothesline, and he had a solid arm that came across our chest. Was one of those things you're like, oh yeah, that felt good. Loved it. So
get some face
Who's
paint.
he talking about? Bill Barker?
Oh yeah, Bill Barker's Captain America.
Yeah, that hurt.
Yeah, it was painful. Every one of those were pretty painful. Let's see, Richard Brown hit me in the head with a briefcase one time. That it seemed like he was carrying bricks in that thing. It hurt. Even with the helmet on, he hit me so hard. I was like, "Oh my God, what's in that thing?" I think it was the episode he had his skates in the back in the briefcase. But yeah, it was all good stuff. And like I said, everything always popped up like, "Hey, let's try this." We're like, "Cool, let's do it."
So here's one final question for you, Mark, and we'll kind of turn it to Rusty and have the same questions to him. What was your favorite move that you got to watch be done, like through the years of taping or whatever, like where you were not involved in it, but you got to watch somebody else take it? Which one like made you like jump and be like, oh my God, that looks awesome?
Everything that happened always happened to me, unfortunately. The only thing I never got the rusty nail. I never got that. That move, I don't know, like some of the stuff that the rail biter. Actually I've had that too. Sorry. I can't really think of very much.
He accidentally hit you with the rail biter, didn't he?
Yeah, a couple times.
He's hit me a couple times with that doggone thing. And that's another one that's like, ow. I don't know. There's so much stuff. As I'm thinking more and more stuff, like the Air Ninja, God, I've had a lot of beat ups. God, it seems like I was the beat up guy.
And then there's this guy over there in the other corner that hardly ever got beat up, but he did a lot of pounding himself. Rusty Montgomery actually is back on with all of us now. So, Rusty, talk about your famous finishing moves or like glamour moves that you did to wow the crowd.
It was just the Rusty Nail, which it was kind of a variation of the Stone Cold Stunner, except I tried not to land on my butt too much because that just killed my back. I landed more kind of on my back when I did it. I was more, as you know, I was more of kind of an assist guy for Atkinson. So I would set up a lot of people for like skyscraper, for bench warmer, stuff like that, which I enjoyed doing. I enjoyed watching that kind of stuff. I was nailed by pretty much everybody on every team, all the big heavy hitter blockers, quite a few times. But I just had pretty much the one move, the Rusty Nail.
Gotcha. So, with that being said, you were assisting in like the Yak Attack, or the skyscraper Yak Attack that we all grew to love. I think even Mark, you took the Yak there. You took the skyscraper a couple of times, right?
Yeah, multiple times I've taken the skyscraper. Rusty set me up to him and stood me up right before he hits me.
So
taken that a bunch of times.
I mean, how much fun was that for you guys to, be able to put on that show, for the fans, with Rusty setting him up and, watching Martin get nailed and the fans cheer a little bit or whatever?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it was being the guy taking the hit, you had to sell it as much as the guy giving it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what's funny is the first time. What was the move you and McDaniel did, Mark? Where McDaniel jumped up on the rail and then flew back into me.
The rail biter.
Yeah, the rail biter. So the first time I ever took that, I'm not lying. I was nervous. I was scared to death, and I was jamming or something, and I was blocking one of their guys. Mark grabbed me and set me up for that. And he's just talking me through it, and he goes, "Just relax, man. Nope, you gotta relax. You're tense. Relax." And Casey hit me, and I was like, "Oh, okay, it wasn't as bad." And after that, Mark's like, "Yeah, I told you, dude. If you just relax, it doesn't hurt." But I don't care who you are, what you do, what you think you can take. I think, and I'm just gonna kind of jump ahead because I heard what you asked, Mark. Bill Barker hitting me with that spear, or Captain America, or whatever it was, that hurt worse than anything. And I was more nervous to take that pretty much than anything because, I mean, it was a full-out clothesline at 15, 16 miles an hour. It sucked, man. There was nothing easy about it.
I guess that sounds brutal. What are some of the other finishers that you took that kind of made you wince a little bit post move?
A few times later on down the road, when I was not on the Quakes, when I got moved to the Sundogs, I got hit by Atkinson a few times, and I honestly can't remember what it was, but Sean was like full bore, man. I mean, he didn't really hold back too much. Some people would kind of hold back, and not give it to you fully, but I mean, Atkinson was 100%. He was all in.
And you touched base on other things, that he was one of those that was always telling you, make it look as hard hitting and as real as possible to,
right.
I
will tell you this, and I was kind of a jerk. I was friends with David Galletti, but every time I skated against him and he started pushing and whatnot, I would like really punch him. And you can watch in several episodes, I was like really punching him, like mostly in the helmet. But the second episode I think we filmed, and Mark could probably tell you better, but David, we were supposed to kind of get into it. And David's, before the thing, like, just shoved me a little bit. I'm like, well, I hit him and I punched him right in the chin. And my dad was in the audience for that one. And he asked me after the show, and he goes, "Man, that looked pretty real." And I'm like, well, it was. I hit him right in the chin. I said, way too hard. And, of course, after the show, Dave's like, "Man, why are you punching?" Remember how he talked, Mark?
Oh, God.
"Hey, man, why are you punching me?" why are you punching
God.
me? But yeah, I mean, it's what you made. You had to sell it. You know, you had to sell it, and selling it just meant not tensing up and taking it and hitting the floor and waiting a couple seconds to catch your breath, because half the time it knocked your breath out, and moving on. But I mean, that's what you got paid to do, you know.
Well, let me touch base on this one. Mark, you probably remember this one, season 1. And Rusty, you and I have talked about this a couple of times privately. The famous moment when Sean storyline proposed to his real life wife, Denise Snowden, and you attacked Sean post proposal and decked him in the mouth or in the nose.
I hit him in the mouth. He told me to punch him for real.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys probably didn't know this. Sean was a Golden Gloves boxer back in the day, for real.
Yeah.
And he told me, he goes, dude, I want this to look good because the cameras are going to be right here. Hit me. And I did. I hit him. And and I was like, man, I hit him way too hard. And then after the show, and he's like, I thought you were going to hit me a little harder than that, but that was okay. And I was like, okay, great. I guess my punches aren't much. But he was a beast, man. He was a beast.
Sean was a different breed. I working with him, like, he always, like, going against the Quakes was one of those times where, you know, you was skating against Sean for one, and you knew what he was bringing. So Jason and I always talked like, man, we have to, like, all of our game has to step up like 110% against those guys, because it's Sean. He's unpredictable no matter what he is. I remember the first time I hit him with a chair, and he comes around the corner I was on the high side of the track, and okay, granted, I've never hit anybody with a chair before, so this is like a first-time experience for me. I'm like, cool, I can do this, no big deal. Sean takes his helmet off, and we talked before, and he's like, don't pull back, you know, whatever. He takes his helmet off and comes around the high side of the track, and I swear to you, I swung that chair hard, and the sound it made hit his skull, I swear to God, I killed the guy. I was like, oh my God, he's dead. He's dead. And I come to find out later on, suppose the rumor was I shattered 4 of his molars from hitting him in the head so hard with the chair. So, and that's what afterwards Sean's like, yeah, you really hit me. I'm like, hell yeah, I hit you. Why'd you take your helmet off for? You know, like, you're supposed to be selling this thing with everything on it, but you take your helmet off and you didn't put no hands up. You just kind of put your head down. I was like, good God. But he got up like right away and did it again the next jam. And the next jam, and the next jam. I'm like, good God, man. Like, if I ever get into it with this guy, I'm going to have to stab him with something and hope to God he bleeds out before he gets to me. Because he's crazy. But he was when we first got down there, we didn't really, we butted heads a lot. Like, you know, me and Jason was kind of like the new talent coming in on Sean. And he kind of went to show him as the veterans derby skater, all this stuff. But we kind of nipped it in the bud pretty quickly and became really good friends after that. But Sean was an awesome dude, and like you said, he brought 110% to every game that you skated against him.
Yep. I'll be right back, guys. One more interruption. I'm sorry.
All good.
Mark, was Sean, refresh my memory, he was the only one I think you really multiple times hit unsafe headshot, like with the chair, right?
Sean's the only one that took the chair shot with no helmet on.
Yeah, like head on, because I think you've done the move where you take the chair, kind of like the Van Daminator, you hit him, you clothesline him. Now I know you've done that to like Mark and Tim, but I don't think you ever. I think Sean was the only one that full on go for it. Yeah,
Sean's the only one that took it on full fledged. Near the end of season 4, the middle of season 4, he started getting into the habit of putting a hand up and kind of absorbing it almost with it. And plus, when I first started swinging that chair, man, I was swinging that chair hard. And I know now, I'm like, good God, wow. But then as the things went on, I still would swing, but I don't know what's the word. I mean, I guess I would kind of swing, but not swing through. You know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't swing through somebody. At the beginning, I was like swinging through them, and that was a damage. But you know, he would always take it with his helmet off, and near the end, he put his hand up and take it. Then Marco took it in the head a couple times with his helmet on. Bill took it, Tim Washington took it across the back. But, yeah, Sean was the only one that took it full-fledged, no helmet on, no nothing, and jumped up. And, sometimes you look on film, some of the shows, you see him get up, and you can see his eyes are, like, glassed over, from a chair shot. And he's like, I'm okay, let's do it again. It's like, God, man. I mean, so, like, with that intensity that he had, like, man, you'd have to, like, break your leg and put tape on it and keep going to compete with him.
I remember one chair shot. I remember, Bill, real quick. Remember, I don't know, the ladies that you used to have, the hot dice used to bring with you guys. It was two girls.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't even remember who they are. They, like, popped up out of nowhere.
Yeah, it was like they were there and then gone the next minute. But anyway, there was
strippers maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
They had there was this one moment where it was you guys against the enforcers. Now at the tail end, Jason and you both grabbed chair shots.
Yeah.
Now that was when you actually hit Washington in the back.
Mm-hmm.
And Jason tried to hit Mark in the head, but it looked like they call it the Lance Storm style of chair shots. Like, it's so weak.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I felt so bad because he had to, like, hit him twice.
Yeah.
But it was just, like, so tapped, and Mark just, like, he sold it like it was death.
Yeah, he did. He did so. And the bad thing was, like, we sat on those chairs afterwards, and my chair was so lopsided that we're like,
and his was normal.
His was normal. So I'm like, man, what'd you do with this thing?
That was a nice team photo at the end, though. It was.
Oh, yeah. That was all improv. Like, it was – some of the stuff we did was just like, hey, let's do this. Like, at the end, it was like, cool, we're going to do it this way. And it just happened. Nothing was really – a lot of the stuff we did besides some of the moves was just all like, cool, let's do this. And, like, we just flowed together. Like, that one I hit Sean over the rail with it. I hit him in the head first, and then I flew over the rail with him. And I brought the chair around. I just sat there looking at him. That was another just, hey, something I'm just going to do. I don't know why I did it, but I did.
Well, let me ask this to the both of you, both Mark and Rusty. How often were these moves planned in advance, and how often were they? How often was it just on the fly? Like, for example, Rusty would set you up for the skyscraper. Rusty would just say, hey, you're taking the skyscraper here, get ready. Or Mark, in your case of giving Rusty the rail biter, setting him up for the rail biter, would you communicate that during the jam as you guys were setting it up, or would that be communicated before the jam began, or how would that work exactly?
No, it was pre-planned. We went over it in practice in a script they had. Some things would change depending on time and or what the score was if we messed up the score. But all that was pre-planned, and a lot of times, like me, I was the worst at remembering what jam it was. What are we doing on this one? I needed one of those football things, Mark. What's the play? But it was all pre-planned, so you knew it was coming. And we would all talk to each other. If you watch some of those old ones, you could see us in there as we're blocking. We're talking to each other. What's his next jam? Skyscraper. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay. Everybody knew their role after that. So
if it wasn't for Jason Bird and Sean Davison, like, I wouldn't even know how the game went. Like, every time if something would happen, one of those two are coming up to me and saying, "Roll the bones" or "Skyscraper" or whatever it is. What's coming next? And we would know the move, like you said, like for the rail biter. We know it was coming, just didn't know when it was coming in the jam. So there wasn't like, oh, we're going to do it on the third lap of whatever. You knew it was coming. So we would set it up, and, when I would come and grab Rusty by the head or whatever, that's when the move was happening.
Yep.
Yeah.
You went with it.
That's kind of compelling, because I didn't realize it was just like the script was fully wrote out. I didn't know, like, because when I was in high school, my freshman year of high school, we would watch the show on Friday night, and a lot of us thought, like, most of the moves were ad-libbed into the game. Like, you guys would just say on the fly. You you guys actually had that scripted out from Jam 1 to the very last one of the game, with the girls and the guys and
Check it out.
everything.
Yep. Everything was all pre-planned, man. We went over it in the locker room or before we went out, and just again, we just forget things, but we always had one or two people that remembered. And sometimes near the bench somewhere, we'd always have like a copy of the plays and stuff.
It was in the helmets.
Yeah.
Was it really?
Well, some of the guys that are in the helmets.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
In fact, I think Sean did it a few times because I remember him pulling his helmet off. And
It makes sense now, Bill, because if you look,
that does.
a
Now,
lot of them go like this and they look down, or they switch helmets a lot. I noticed you guys did that a lot.
Yeah, helmets got switched not because of the moves that were in there, but like I never had it in my helmet because I never knew what was going to happen to. Like I knew what was going to happen to me, but my helmet could get ripped off, it could whatever. But most of them would sit in our the white helmets or jam helmets on. Like I said, some of the guys would keep it, and you would see us huddle in between jams, like in between the girls' period and the guys' period. We'd talk about what's happening next. But then like it got later on where just, let's see, like Sean Davison and Jason Bird was two really good guys on my team, but also on the other teams like the Enforcers, Dirty Dan, and that dude can tell you the whole entire game, like play by play.
yep.
He'd love to go throw him an elbow, like what's next? And like roll the bones, cool, and then that's it. And that's all we really knew is like, what would happen, like what's the big moves at the end. So what people did on the jam, it was kind of just they went out on the jam. We just knew one person had to get to the back.
Yeah.
so here's one. I wish he was on tonight, but apparently family issues. We need to discuss the famous hit between Sean Davidson and Tim Washington in the Demolition Derby. Were you aware about that hit, that it was coming? Were you aware? Was that? What do you guys know about that hit? Besides,
What hit? What hit? Let me try to think of it.
In the Demolition Derby, Washington was going this way, Davidson was going this way, and they head-on collision with each other.
Yeah, that was kind of like they were supposed to hit each other, but there was nothing. No one really talked about. Like in the Demolition Derby was one of those things, kind of like some people was getting taken out. We knew like kind of the order people was getting removed. And some of it was more ad-libbed during it because we had to like, you can't just have two people standing around looking at each other. We had to create something. So that was something those two probably worked out between each other on, how am I going to take the hit? Is it going to be the King Kong? Is it just going to be a collision? Or are we just going to skate into each other? What's going to be? But we all knew it was going to be big, regardless of who it was. That's why, like, in the demo, I hit Sean like 3 times with a chair. He kept getting up, and he was supposed to stay down, so I kept hitting him.
I'm like laughing at that because Sean Atkinson taking a chair shot. Oh my God, that's crazy. Rusty, did you ever think about taking a chair shot like your former teammate, or were you just kind of like, nah, it's just not my thing?
I took I'll tell you funny. I might have told you this before. One morning on the way in, one of the producers called me and said, "Hey, I need you to stop by Home Depot and get like 4 metal trash cans." I'm like, "Oh, okay," because I had a pickup truck. I'm like, "All right." So he goes, "We'll reimburse you for them. Just buy them." So I bought 4 metal trash cans. And I got there, and unbeknownst to me, I'm like, "What are these trash cans for?" And the producer goes, "Oh, well, you're actually going to get hit with one of them." It's like, what? I bought something that's going to kill me? I mean, it's crazy. So it was actually I got I don't even know what it was called, where Tim Washington picked me up and slammed me. And then I rolled over, and I'm trying to get up on all fours, and he came with that big trash can and was like, and just, beat it over my head. And it didn't hurt that bad because I wasn't expecting it. I never saw it coming. But I saw stars, man, and it was pretty bad. I got hit with a bench one time from Richard Brown too. That hurt. But that stuff like that was kind of ad-libbed. Not everything, but some things like that was ad-libbed. But sometimes the producers at the last minute be like, hey, let's get some trash cans and we can throw this in the mix. So sometimes game day we'd find out there were some changes, but not until like right before.
Gotcha. So, okay, because you guys are heavy hitters, what were some of the injuries that we never saw on camera that were legitimate injuries, not the blood capsule in the mouth injury, Rusty? And you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Some of the, did you guys ever get legitimate cuts over the forehead that they had to get the cameras off of you real quick, or,
No.
any legitimate blood, anything like that, any hard ways?
Debbie Rice broke her neck.
Yeah, she broke her neck. That was pretty bad.
Fractured my
Jason
tibia.
broke his collarbone.
Yep, I forgot about that. I broke on a rusty nail. I busted my burster sac in my elbow, if you know what that is. I hit, and I knew I hit hard, but I just kind of ate it and acted like nothing happened. And it was towards the end of the game, and I went back behind stage. And remember Stick Boy, Mark?
Yeah.
What was his
Ken
name?
Tracy. Ken Tracy.
Our trainer. He goes, "Oh my God, look at your elbow," and it was filling up like a balloon under a sink. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, man!" So he wrapped it up real quick, and that night, man, that thing was like this. And we had 2 more games the next day on Sunday, so I went and got one of those lacrosse pads that everybody started wearing. I wore that, and I played with that, man, but it hurt something fierce, man. That's probably the worst injury I got.
So what'd they do to get rid of that? Did they just take you under the
It
knife?
just goes away. That fluid just absorbs back in your arm eventually, but I just kept it wrapped up and in that big lacrosse pad.
And you through the year.
What's that?
Continued playing through the year like no big deal.
Yeah, I wouldn't sit out because if you didn't play, I mean, you could be injured, but there was a chance that they'd either cut you or not pay, and I wasn't going to have that.
Yeah.
There was
a story.
What about your worst injury?
Worst injury on the track?
Yeah.
I mean, I broke a finger. A lot of bumps and bruises. Off the track, Rusty remembers this one probably. The Roxy nightclub. Remember that, Rusty?
Yes, I remember that, man.
So,
used to box in the ring. Yeah.
Yes. I don't think I was on TV yet. We went in there boxing, and I was drinking a little bit, and ended up fighting again that evening with some pro fighter that almost knocked me the fuck out. Sorry.
Yeah.
If you remember, Rusty, you threw the towel in and jumped the guy when he was trying to hit me when I was staggering.
Yeah.
And it blacked my eye so bad. My eye was swollen. And I came into practice the next day because I couldn't skate. And Tom, what's his name? The guy that was like
Kachuk
or
whatever. Yeah.
Whatever. Kasich. Tom came up to me and said, hey, look, you do something that stupid again, the next thing you get from us is a plane ticket home. I was like, oh, it's that real, huh? Okay, cool.
Yep.
It was so bad. My eye was swollen. I couldn't skate. I couldn't do anything for like 3-4 days. And then finally, I got a lot of.
I forgot all about that place, man.
Got made fun of a lot for that one. Sean really ate that up. But, yeah, I got punched pretty hard. And I think that's the hardest I've ever been hit.
I'm actually surprised they didn't.
There was a boxing club that was there.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't work that into like a storyline where maybe they were interviewing Sean Atkinson and said, "Oh, we know you have a glass eye" or something like that. Just to mess with you and make the fans be like, "What is he talking about?"
See, I wasn't on TV yet, so like the dice hasn't hit. It was like near the beginning of the first season. The dice wasn't on TV yet. It was more enforcers plates and stuff. So. It was pretty fun. It was pretty intense. Good times.
I was going to say, the dice didn't come on the show until about halfway through the year.
Right.
And then the Rustlers didn't come on until almost at the end of that first season.
Right.
And the Rustlers were like basically the whipping post for everybody.
Pretty much.
They were a joke. Like, when commentators are making fun of a team,
Yeah.
They were like the Barry Horowitz of Rollerjam.
Yeah.
You guys follow pro wrestling, and you know who he is.
Yeah.
He was the jobber that everybody
They did
loved.
this a lot. They did.
Lost.
They did
Yeah.
this a lot.
And then when he finally won, everybody lost their shit because they were like, when are they going to give him a push? You know?
Yeah, they were fun.
And they did that against the Enforcers. It was like, oh, okay, here they go. They're gonna get a push. They winded up not getting a push until a year later, because that's when they started bringing in Gamble and they had the G-Force. And then
Oh yeah.
That's when they had Tank and Lindsay on the same team with G-Force. And
they could have kept that team. I think they could have kept that team intact. That was a kind of a dumb move to disband them and get rid of it.
Yeah.
I'm going to put myself on mute, guys. Keep talking. We're about to have another joiner.
I thought that the one of the funny ones is when you were in the Demolition Derby, Mark. I think it was 2001, not the last one, the 2001.
The first one.
Posse, and you just launch yourself. I'm like, he doesn't see the rails open.
Yeah, like so. Posse was I don't want to say this. Like he was hard to work with. Like he was so solid and so stiff a lot of the times. He got better. So the thing of that one was I was supposed to skate to him, and he was supposed to kind of roll me through there and kind of roll the bones. But I think I was coming too fast for him. He kind of just kind of stepped to the side and kind of gave me a little push, and I flew halfway down that ramp.
Yeah.
I heard Rusty. I don't know. Maybe you could back the story up. I forgot who it was. They were saying that that skit that they did with when Sean was saying that he was going to lead the whole kidney transplant thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they did a skit where Posse was supposed to take over with a quake.
Mm-hmm.
So Eric Slopey.
Yep.
Now when he hit him, I don't know with the light or he hit him. He did something. They said he legitimately knocked Slopey out.
Yeah, that's what Slopey said. If we wasn't part of that skit, like during the filming of that one, that was like kind of done on the side, but we heard about that.
Like, I don't know if that's true or not. Like, and there was another injury that we didn't mention. There was the whole Denise Loden getting her tooth or something knocked out by.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute, especially with the ladies' injuries, because we have the biggest heavy hitter of the ladies' side of the game of roller derby, Rollerjam on right now, Jannet Abraham, the Abrahammer.
Hey. How's it going?
Up?
Hey, Janet.
Hey. What's up, Russell? What's happening? I see you got your uniform on.
Oh, Janet?
I'm on the perimeter.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, he's on the perimeter looking for Devo right now. So we were discussing, your signature like finishing move to finish off a jam. Tell us all which one yours was, for the fans when they see this, and maybe what its pro wrestling equivalent would be.
For who wants to go first?
Oh, the guys have already went. We're waiting on you.
Okay, sorry about that. I'll have to rewatch it. I set my phone down. I was playing with my puppy and totally forgot. So I apologize.
No, it's okay. The boys held down the fort.
Oh, good. Well, I think when it first started and I broke through on the first play, I forgot who it was that I came down on both of them. Lee, the Hawk Rearman, gave me the name, the Abrahammer, because I would come through and plow them with my elbows, and so that was one of my favorite signature moves, is going through and just really hammering them down with my elbow, like when I break bricks with my elbow. And so I thought that was pretty cool how he gave me that name, the Abrahammer.
Nice. And,
yeah.
Obviously the ladies played the game a little bit different than the guys. There wasn't so much of the heavy hitting like some of the finishing moves, but, I don't recall, did you end up taking an ack attack from Denise Loden when she was using the move? Or
I did take a hit from Denise, and then also I took one from Stacy at one point. Yeah, it wasn't fun. I think I actually took I forgot who it was, but I took a railing and I did a flip over, and from there I landed on my back. I didn't know where I was.
That's I can imagine how much those hurt. Somebody wants to say hi real quick. She's sitting next to me.
Hi.
Hey, there's your princess daughter. How are you, sweetheart?
Good.
Yeah, your daddy loves you. He's always talking and bragging on you.
See, they know who you all are.
You're famous. We need your autograph.
So, okay, so with that being said, the guys have kind of answered that question. Now, here's the last question for us, for everybody. What was your favorite move, male or female, to sit back and just watch happen that made you, like, jump and be like, oh my God, that was awesome to watch. That was so much fun. Like, just to be able to watch it, sit back as not just as a skater, but as a fan.
Is that something for a move that we did or somebody else?
Somebody else did to somebody else where you got to sit back and watch it.
I used to love to watch Stacy do her flips on her skates. That was one of my favorites, watching Stacy do her flips and land and then just hit somebody. That was really cool, being on the track with her or watching her, sitting on the bench. She always had some really good moves.
Gotcha. Vivian's mom just came home, so no, it's fine. She's saying hi from the other room.
Sorry, guys.
She apologizes to everybody here, so.
That's all right.
But yeah, no, we were just, the big thing is heavy hitters, because I mean, we remember as kids, you were one of the heavy hitters. Like, you laid some hurt on some of the ladies. And I remember, Shelley Roselle even, kind of alluding to it that, weren't the nicest person. And, I think Lee Rareman even joked that the ladies on the Enforcers team all had Sisters of Suffering tattoos, which I know that I don't think that was real, but, he said that.
They were real. They were so Sharpie.
Jannet had a Sister Suffering tattoo on her back.
Here's my little. He wants to say hi.
Hey.
Wait, no, like this. Now like
this.
It's kids' night here,
My little.
Look.
Don't make me break out my puppy.
Oh God, where's the dog at here? There's a pug that lives here, and the pug's like 12 years old, and
oh wow.
Oh yeah, she's hilarious to deal with.
Who's all on the call tonight? I seen that Sean and Rusty.
It's Weber, Rusty, John, and myself, and you.
Hey, what's up, Mark? Rusty.
What's up, Jannet?
Hey, Jan, how are you, honey?
It's been a long
Good to see
time.
you.
I'll be in Orlando tomorrow, Russ.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, if you see me going down the highway, don't pull me over.
I won't. Long afternoon. I appreciate you hanging out with us. Sorry, guys.
That's you'll be in my neck of the woods, Jannet, and near Orlando.
Duty calls with him. So are you going to be down in Orlando around early June too, or no?
No, I'd probably be in. I think we were going to be in Illinois and Michigan in June.
Okay, let me know, because my birthday is actually, oddly enough, I share a birthday with a fellow skater from the show.
Which one?
Katie Cooper.
Oh, Katie Cooper.
Yes.
I love Katie.
Yeah, when I found out her birthday is June 5th, I was like, oh, we share a birthday. Cool, I can teach you about it. So.
Oh, that's cool.
Tentatively, the plan is I'm going to take off the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Only taking off the 3rd and the 4th to drive down to Florida for just a couple of days.
Oh,
fly
nice.
back, and then return to work on the 7th after my birthday. That's tentative plan.
Okay. You're driving from Indiana?
From South Bend, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
only like I mean, split it up. It's 8 hours a piece. So I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
I've done it before. I've driven to Dallas on my own, so
Yeah.
that isn't so bad. But no,
No.
I'm not the flying type. I hate airplanes, so figured give us an opportunity to drive. But yeah, if you're up this way, let me know, because if you're in Chicago, you have to go through you kind of go through South Bend to get to Detroit. So
Yeah. All right. Yeah, definitely. I'll let you know.
yeah, give you the easy directions to get here to South Bend, Mishawaka, because it's so easy. Even my daughter could drive,
Okay.
which you don't want to have her drive a car, but that's
No. Hey, I was going to say, while Mark Weber is on the call too, he was one of my other favorites to watch. I used to love him when he would just, he probably could still do it now, but when you would skate and jump up on the rail.
That was Jason that jumped on the rail.
I thought you did.
Oh God, no! I couldn't get my big ass up there, but Jason's what? Jason jumped on the rail. I got him to get the rail.
I thought that was you. I always thought you used to do the same thing.
Well, thank you for thinking I was that good, but no, I couldn't jump on the rail. I climbed on the rail, but I never jumped up to it. I couldn't.
We were discussing it earlier. Weber and I are almost the same height, and in his heyday, we were about the same weight. So, I mean, if he couldn't jump up on the rail, I know I sure as hell wouldn't try to.
Hey, I could barely jump over a skater on the ground, so. I don't know if you remember that, but they used to make me, I used to hop over them, and they're like, no, you got to jump.
And it was terrifying.
It was.
Terrifying. Because we would be the ones on the ground with her jumping over. And with her being not sure of herself, it's even worse. Like, I'd rather her just go and just, yeah, I wouldn't try it. But her hesitating was the scary part. Like, but it was good.
And I think it's more of a mental thing, because you're so used to being on solid ground. Like,
Yeah.
you're afraid, vertically, you can't get up high vertically, and you're afraid that you're not going to get up high enough to clear somebody.
Yeah, and the last thing I wanted to do is hit somebody in the head with my skate.
Well, we were talking about that with the Richard Brown briefcase a little bit ago.
Oh, yeah, that was fun.
And Richard hit his skates in his briefcase and hit Weber in the head.
Oh.
Yeah. One of the many times I've been hit in the head with that stupid briefcase. He hit me one time. I don't know if I was expecting it or not, but he was coming up swinging, and I think I turned, so I caught the corner of the briefcase right here on the side of my head, and I dropped like a sack of potatoes. I was like, oh. And the trainer comes over. He's like, you all right? I'm like, looking at him. I'm like, yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm good. Let's go.
No blood. You're good.
Rusty's just sitting here laughing about it. Do you got anything to add to this, Rusty, just for kicks and giggles?
No, I like hearing other people's stories, and it reminds me of some of the same things we're talking about. It reminds me. I just don't think about it. It's been so many years. I mean, I haven't seen Weber in 20-something years, man.
Jesus, last shows of Rollerjam. Remember we used to play golf, 9 holes, Rusty?
What's that?
Remember we played golf, 9 holes of golf every now and then?
We did?
Yeah, every now and then we play like probably 3 times. It was horrible.
Did we play at Mayfair in Sanford? I think we played at Mayfair.
I think so, yeah, when we was at the Sanford track.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I forgot all. See, that's what I'm talking about. I forgot all about that.
What about you, Jannet? Did you go play golf?
No, but Rusty came and seen when I ministered at one of the churches there in was it Apopka or Longwood? Remember, Rusty, you came out and saw us minister.
I don't remember where it was.
When I broke the bricks and we bent the cigars and blew up the hot water bottle.
Oh, that was in that was our church at Westview, I believe, in Sanford, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, but that was at your church. But then that's right, it was your church.
Yeah.
I thought you came out when we were in Longwood as well. But,
I don't think so. I saw you at our church, and the guy who was the main guy there, he passed away a few years ago. What was his name?
Yeah, that was oh my gosh, Mike Hagan.
Yes.
Yeah, he passed away. Yeah, he was the
Great
one that got me on the power team. Yeah.
Yeah.
So speaking of the power team and the ministry, how long have you actually been involved in that? Because was that before and after Rollerjam, or was that after, or when did you start getting involved in that?
I started a ministry doing the feats of strength in 1990 when I was just a kid. But what I loved about being on Rollerjam is that I never really thought I would make the teams because I didn't think I was that good. I wasn't the fastest skater. I wasn't the prettiest skater, but they wanted to use my story, my life story, as my character. And that's why they wanted me to start out as on the enforcers, as a bad guy. And then eventually I would have my so-called religious conversion and then switch over to the Sundogs. And so every time they would do a cut, I just thought for sure I was going to get cut. And I never got cut. And it's, so I just thank God for the opportunity. Fred, I don't know if you guys remember, Fred used to help me get along when we would do our pacing. Fred
Eichhorn.
What was Fred's? Fred Eichhorn?
Yep.
Yeah, Fred. He used to help me, and then that one time when April and I had that fight, and we were filming for real TV, and they thought that it was an act, but it was for real. and we both got fined. Do you remember that, guys?
I don't remember that one.
Oh man, I got tired of her making fun of me, and I just blocked her. But we made up. We made up. It was all good. But that was just really neat that I was able to use my life story as the character on the show. And one of my highlights was when I got to break the bricks on TV. I don't know if you guys saw that, but
I remember that.
You remember that? When I broke all the bricks and let's see, Captain America, Brian.
Bill Barker.
Bill Barker.
It was Bill Barker. That's right. It was Bill Barker. He went to go give me a high five. I was so excited. I forgot to high five him. Yeah, we had some great times. It doesn't seem like it was 21 years ago, but it was just such an incredible time in my life.
22 years after the first episode aired.
I know.
I mean, I was 15 when I watched, or 14 when the first episode aired. If that tells you anything. I was a young pop.
We were the same age, bro.
Well, yeah. I'm a few months older.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Mark, where are you living, bud?
Indiana, right outside of Ohio.
Okay.
You're on the Indiana side, Weber?
What?
You're on the Indiana side?
Yeah, I'm like probably 12 minutes from Harrison, Ohio.
So what are you, Lawrenceburg?
Right outside of Lawrenceburg, it's a place called Guilford.
I know where that's at. I lived in Mooresville, Indiana for 5 years, and I lived in Noblesville for 5. So
yeah, we just moved out here like 2 years ago from Cincinnati.
How long have you been married, Mark?
I've been with my wife for 7 years.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. She's my.
Huh?
She keeps me calm.
I know you always were hyper.
It hasn't changed.
Mark, you know it's the right one when they actually have a calming effect on who you are. Like they help hone you in who you are as a person. Like they allow you to be you, but they help bring that extra level of, like just calmness to your life where you don't feel like you have to be over the top so much.
Yeah, she's my voice of reason is what we call it sometimes.
That's awesome.
That's good.
That's this one right here. That's her mother for you. The voice
That's
of
a good
reason.
thing. Yeah. Hello.
Rusty, how about you?
Good.
How about me?
Aren't you married?
I am 21 years.
Yeah, you're 1 year ahead of me.
Yeah, I got a a 20-year-old daughter, an 18-year-old daughter, and a 16-year-old son.
Wow, that's amazing.
A 16-year-old son that's almost 6'5", if you can believe that.
Did he
Jeez.
get his height from your mother, his mother?
No, my dad. My dad was a real super big guy.
Oh, okay.
I got my mom's height, as you know.
Period.
Yeah, you've been in law
I grew
enforcement
out,
for
I
a
didn't grow
while.
up. What's that?
I said you've been in the law enforcement for a while now, 25, 26 years.
Right after Rollerjam. Yeah.
Okay.
You ever see Randy Garrett?
So he retired with us a number of years ago. Then he came back to work as just a deputy because he was a sergeant here like I am.
Yeah.
Then he retired and he came back as a deputy. So he was kind of double dipping. He was getting his retirement and getting another paycheck.
Who's
And
that?
then he just got tired and retired again. And he lives over in Lake County, and him and he's still with Susan. Remember his wife Susan, Juan?
Mhm.
They're still together, and they own a campground over in Lake County.
Really? Randy Garrett, Janet. Randy Garrett.
Oh, Randy, yes.
Yes.
In the beginning at Sanford, he was the one that would show up in the patrol car. He would bring his patrol. He would get off work and come to practice.
Right.
Yeah, he drove his patrol car all the way up to the studio in Universal.
Yeah.
There was pictures of actually him handcuffing me outside of one of his cars one time.
That's awesome.
Just for fun, though. I wasn't that bad.
So let me ask this question. Obviously heavy hitters, you guys are hitting each other pretty hard.
Yeah.
Let me just ask this for all the young fans out there, especially ones that are not old enough to really be saying certain adult adjectives.
All right.
As you notice who I'm looking at over here. How often, like when you guys took those hits, were you guys accidentally dropping like a bad word or two that, you probably shouldn't say on TV?
Every time.
A lot.
Not
Every
me.
time.
Not Janet, but
You really couldn't hear it on camera.
I was mic'd up a lot. I had a mic on me a bunch of the times. And a lot of the footage, James Ponte would say, "We can't use any of that." Like, well, I'm sorry. It hurts. Right? But it's just like there's some things. So when Jason and I would come to the back of the pack, like when we do the leap over where I would toss him over the pack or get set up with a twister or something. So where we would meet up each other and talk, 9 times out of 10, we would say something like, I don't know, I would order a Big Mac, 2 large fries, a small coffee. Like that's what we would talk to each other. Or we would say, can you believe what Rusty just did over there? That's stupid. We're going to get him. Let's go. And then we would just, it was always a comment of something just totally off the wall. So like they couldn't use a lot of the stuff I was on my mic. But it was fun. No, we had a good time doing it. So remember Craig Fisher? You guys remember Craig Fisher?
Yeah, he got sick. He was sick or something, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know what really happened to him, but remember the interview he did? He never wanted to be in front of the camera, ever. He's like, I just want to skate. That's all I want to do. So
yeah, that kid can skate too, boy.
He can skate. So he did an interview one time, and the director walked out and told him no. They threw a microphone in his face, and he goes, he looks at the microphone, he goes, I'd like to thank the Lord of Darkness for giving me the strength of skating this game. And somebody's they're like, no, you can't say that.
My God.
But he had this like blue piercing eyes and he looked right into the camera.
He did.
I was like, I'd like to thank the Lord of Darkness for giving me the strength. We were crying because it was hilarious. But you could hear on the in-house, they had to cut it and reshoot it and all this stuff.
Yeah.
That was one of the funniest things.
You know what? I haven't heard that name in so many years. That's the kid I was thinking about last time I was talking on here, and I was trying to tell you about a good skater we had that got sick, or he had some kind of disease or something. He had to leave the show, but he was one of the fastest skaters and technical skaters we had.
Who was that?
It's Craig Fisher.
Oh yes.
Yeah, he used to duct tape his skates together.
Yeah.
Yeah. To put them on. He put them on with duct tape.
Yep. Yep. He looked kind of like maybe Italian or something.
Yeah. His mom was Italian. He was from New York City.
Yep. Who did he skate for?
Texas Rustlers.
Oh, yes.
He's the one that did a front flip over top of me.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
You would actually, he wouldn't tie his skates together. He'd actually duct tape them together.
His skates were, Okay, so like the story is his mom has money, but he wanted to do everything on his own and do everything himself. His skates were like these old beat up skates, like they didn't have buckles or anything, so he duct taped his skates to his feet. And we all offered, like a lot of us had like, we skated and we had connections to get skates. He's like, no, I don't want anything. Like he lived in an apartment in Florida that when we went over there, we're all like looking around like, are we going to get robbed? He was like, no, it's cool, man. It's cool. Don't worry about it. Like he was just solo and his clothes were always holy, but he was the coolest dude you ever met. Yep. His mom had like some nice townhome in New York City. He had a degree in college. The only reason why he had a degree because his mom wanted to go. Like he was just a simple, cool, down to earth fellow you'll ever meet in your life. Like I'll never meet another big fisher ever. He was one of those people.
That's an awesome story. Any good stories for you, Jannet, that you want to share?
I just had such a great time with, like being on the show, skating, the camaraderie that we had, even though, a lot of us were on different teams, we still, all got along. And I used to for me, my favorite part was our practices. I loved our practices, watching, I used to just love watching the plays that we would practice. Cause I mean, like I said, I knew I was never the greatest skater. I skated with 2 stiff legs, but I just used to love to watch the guys and the girls, work their plays. I mean, to me, it was just fun. It was something that I still can't believe it was 21 years ago, but I loved the time we had together. It seemed like we were one big family.
I have a question for Janet, or if anybody wants to answer. Do you know? I don't know if you stayed in contact or about what was like Julie Amazon. Like, what was her story? Like, she was just there 1 minute and then
I don't remember her.
She was like this big, tall girl. Like,
yeah, she came after Janet left.
Okay, I was gonna say I don't remember her. I think I don't remember her. I will say one of my highlights is when we were in Vegas filming, and it's kind of more on I would say religious, but not religious side. But Kim Hart, everybody, it seemed like a lot of the girls were intimidated by her because she was so beautiful. I mean, Kim Hart was just beautiful inside and out, and she had gotten really drunk or something happened one night. I don't know if it was drunk or I don't know what it was, but she had a bad moment, and I befriended her because I felt bad at the time for what happened to her, and we became really good friends. And I got to pray with her right in front of the MGM to give her life to the Lord. And even till this day now, I watch her. She's married with a beautiful family and serving in her church. And to me, those were some of the highlights. Rich Besser, one of our other fans. I'm sure everybody knows who Rich Besser is. He's probably like one of the top Rollerjam fans in history. And just the relationships that you build with the skaters and the fans, it's just something that you never forget.
so true.
Nice. I see Rusty's on the phone. We're going to ask him the same question to kind of wrap things up tonight. We're kind of, as I said, the object isn't to, take everyone's time. Weber, do you got any final thoughts here before we turn it over to Rusty?
No, I'm boring. No, but
You've always got some good stories, Mark.
I did a lot. Like I was, I started off with Richard Brown, and I don't know what to say lucky, but kind of like whenever his incident happened, whenever he got suspended, it's kind of when I had my time to highlight and shine and kind of take the reins of something I've never done before. But Buddy Atkinson and Sean was 2 great coaches. Richard Brown was another great coach, and Ray Robles, like they were all veteran skaters that, you would come in and Richard kind of like tell you what you did wrong, but like also praise you when you did really good. And like what Janet also said, like everyone there was more like a family. It was all from out of town, bunch of kids. Like I was 19 years old, I think it was when I went there. And we were all, you know, a lot of us skaters were skaters getting paid to roller skate and have a good time. So
Yeah.
it was like, you know, like as speed skaters, all this stuff, we always talked about like, man, wouldn't it be cool to get paid to roller skate? And then we had that opportunity to, and we kind of grabbed it and I took every minute of it. And I was involved with a lot of big hits, and, you know, other storylines I was involved with, but more of the hits and seeing people evolve. Like I know, Janet, you never skated before, did you?
I actually did. I never rollerbladed before, but I was actually playing roller hockey when they scouted me. I played hockey. Yeah, and so that's where they found me, and I kept saying no, 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 and then finally I went, and so but I had never been on rollerblades before, so I
Yeah.
had to learn how to rollerblade. It was a little bit different than than roller skating.
Mhm.
So, but now I wouldn't go back to roller skating. I would, and now I'm like, how did I ever roller skate before?
But like seeing everyone also like on skates, like Janet, like Tim Washington, Bill Barker, all the people that's never skated before and able to perform the way they performed on a bank track, nonetheless, like you can learn to skate, but that bank track was a little tricky to
Yeah.
catch on to know the moments on the track, to stay up with the pack. But we all just picked it up and learned and grew as one and just kept pushing along.
Not everybody, Mark. Don't forget Canine and Disabled.
Oh God, those guys. Look, I mean, I don't have my show, but when those guys showed up there, we was like, oh my God, like seriously, like I hope to God I skate against them because I'm not going to hold back anything. Like,
Where did they come from? Like
they just showed up. We don't even.
It was
know,
kind of like Lord Patterson. Remember him, Mark?
there was a couple groups like Lord Patterson showed up. There was two other people that showed up, but they couldn't skate at all, so they never made it. And then Canine Disabled showed up one time, and we was like, like the biggest thing is with the storylines with everything. We knew what the storylines were with our team, what was happening. So we was like kind of in the dark and not knowing what happened with other teams that were going on. So like when Canine Disabled showed up, you're like, what's this? What's going on here? When ECW showed up, we kind of knew they were
that
coming.
was fun.
We knew they were coming, but a lot of us were like, what's going on here? And so some of us wanted the opportunity to skate against them and to kind of do stuff with them, but you know, we kind of missed some opportunities that were, you know.
It was unfortunate they send the scrubs over, though.
I know. That was the thing. It's like, you know, whatever, the blonde-headed guy, he was good. He was good on the mic. I can't remember his name.
Axel Rocky.
Yeah, he looked like a nasty boy.
He passed away a couple years ago.
Did he?
Was that Lee the Hawk?
No, it was the wrestler.
Oh.
I don't even remember. I don't remember the big heavy set guy that was there too from ECW. I know Nunzio because of WWE, but that was it. I'm like, man, they couldn't send them Balls Mahoney. They couldn't send them Rob Van Dam. You want to
That would have been awesome.
That would have been something.
The problem was Rob Van Dam was already in WWE though.
No, that was. Oh yeah, that was 01. No, that was 2000. That was 2000. He didn't go until 01 during the invasion angle.
Yeah,
so he was still there.
You're right. So finally, turn it over to Rusty real quick. Final thoughts from the Rusty Nail regarding the show and the memories. What do you have?
It was a good time in my life, man. I was in my mid-20s. I actually left my job for it once they started paying a little better, and got paid decent just to practice for 15 hours a week, and then 8 weekends. Like Janet said, it was like a big family. We all got along for the most part. We all got along. We got to hang out together. You know, it was just a big free for all. For about a year and a half. Towards the end, like I've said before, I got burned out, and when I was slated to quit, I actually put my resignation in. It was the last season of the show, so it was good. I mean, I really wanted to get into my career field, which is law enforcement. Is what I've always wanted to do. Um, so it was kind of like the perfect ending. It was sad to see it go. Uh, Loved being there, made lifelong friends. I love how that we can do these things and just pick right up where we left off, like with Jannet and Mark. It's like we were always like we've been talking this whole time. It seems like,
Yeah.
wouldn't trade that time for anything, man. It was special. We had a good time. We made a lot of friends. We got to meet a lot of stars. But it's, it was there and now it's gone. And it's we always have the memories, and I really appreciate you guys for having us on here and bringing us up. And I love, and the other ones that we've done, all the fans that we've met. It's amazing that people love the show that much, because I'm telling you right now, when we were doing the show, I really didn't even know there was people like you guys that like enjoyed it as much as you did.
Yeah, thank you guys.
I was like, you're just out here paying us to skate. I was lucky to be on the show. I was kind of a middle of the road skater. Wasn't the best, wasn't the worst. Skated all my life, and it kind of just fit into where I was at that point in my life. So it was a good time, man. I wouldn't trade it for anything.